Guys, this is Coach Takes, DFW Penguin Basketball. Just want to share a quick topic with you guys that I thought of the other day. And basically, I'm going to get right into it. 5 tips on how to tell if your coach genuinely doesn't like you. It could be an assistant coach. It could be your head coach. It could be the JV coach or the freshman coach that comes around a little bit. Your strength and conditioning coach for your football, basketball team, whatever. Okay? But a lot of times you have coaches that don't like you and you don't know why. And sometimes you do know why. But I'm going to go over it real quick. Okay? But first of all, I wanted you guys to know this. Okay? Just because you are not one of the top players on your team does not mean that you are exempt from this. Well, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Just because you are the best player or one of the best players on your team, it does not mean you are exempt from this. Your head coach could despise you, even though you are the best player on the team, in the league, all of that stuff. And it stems from a bunch of different things. It'll take me a whole day to go over that. But I'll give you a couple of examples. You're like, Coach, that don't make sense. If I'm the best player, I'm scoring 20, 30 points a game. Why would the coaches not like me? One, you might have a bad attitude. You might have a poor work ethic. You might be bad in the classroom, all of this stuff. But you're producing, and you're barely making the grades and stuff like that. And sometimes the coach feels like they need you. Another one is, I remember when I was in college, I had an assistant coach that, even though I was one of the best players on the team, he would always say certain things to me, and I could tell that he didn't like me. And I think it was mainly because he wished he was in a position I was in. Like, he had just got done playing probably like 5 years prior to when I was playing. And he would always make comments to the team and to me, like, man, if I was in this league, I'd average this, that, and other. I guess his hoop dreams diminished and he started coaching. So he would do some of these 5 things to me, or a lot of these 5 things to me, which it didn't really bother me because I think the other coaches on the staff knew what type of guy he was. But nevertheless, just because you're the best player on the team or the best player in the league or whatever, that does not mean your coach is going to like you. All right? All right. Now, like I said, your playing time doesn't reflect if he likes you or not. A coach can like you and not play you. I have players that I have on my teams, and I like the kids personally because they're really good kids, have great attitudes, come from, you can tell they come from good parenting, but they just aren't as skilled as other players, and I can't play them. Now, I'll try to plug them in there, and if they're playing well, I try to play them more, but it just makes no sense to me or to the team, and it's hurting the team if I'm playing a guy that can't play that much and well compared to other players, regardless if I like him or not. And like I just said, a coach can dislike you and play you because he wants to win, right? That makes sense. Another thing too, guys. Now, some of you guys say, man, this coach doesn't like me. He's picking on me. Yeah, sometimes you got to look at yourself. Like, how's your attitude in practice? Are you always joking around? Are you showing up late? Are you getting in trouble at school? Okay? Is your body language bad? How do you carry yourself around the coaches? Right? That may be part of why they don't like you, if you feel like they don't. If another thing, you could just be an annoying kid and you don't know that you're an annoying person. Okay? Not paying attention. Like, when a coach has to repeat himself all the time with one guy, that becomes annoying. What else? You asking too many questions. That's one thing I don't like as a coach. I hate when a kid asks me a bunch of questions, especially when it's not pertaining to what's going on. Like, Let's say we're doing a drill. Like, Coach, what drill are we doing next? Like, I got this. Hey, Coach, what time is the game this weekend? Well, you should know, right? I have a bunch of teams. Why are you asking me when the game is? Or just constantly asking questions. We just went over a play, okay? I just explained it thoroughly. You were out there during the demonstration, and you asked me 5 questions about what just went on. That's telling me that you're not paying attention. You're not following the instruction, okay? These are just 4 of the things that would make you an annoying player to a coach. You know, if I'm giving you instructions and you're not following and you're not doing it correctly, all of that stuff, if you do that repeatedly, anybody, not even just a coach, a teacher, your boss at work, that's going to be annoying and they're not going to like you, right? Now, let's get into this. Before I even get into the 5 things to look for, okay? You guys, especially if you're in high school, okay, middle school especially, okay? If you play on your middle school team, or, you know, if you have a young coach, right? You guys have to keep in mind that a lot of these coaches have never played at a high level, okay? 2, a lot of coaches are regular people. So a lot of these guys are socially sensitive, period. So let's say if I have a coach and I make a crack on his shoes or something, or we might be eating a team dinner and I might make a crack on him eating a full plate of food, or just anything small like that. This guy may take this extremely personal, and he has it out for you for the rest of the time you're playing for him. Believe me, guys, this happens. I've had coaches that are so socially awkward, man. I wonder how or why they're coaching. Because they're not charismatic enough, or they're not knowledgeable enough, or they don't have the vocal or communication skills to be a coach. But they just love the sport, and this is what they want to do. Or they're coaching in high school or middle school to get an extra stipend on their check at the end, and they don't really care about coaching. So you got to know that some of these, just like you have friends at school, or that one weird guy in your science class that looks like he's going to blow up the school or something, like just a really weird guy. These guys grow up, and some of them become coaches. So sometimes, hey, some of these coaches are just like this. And you got to be able to recognize it has nothing to do with you as a player, what you've done to them personally. You might crack a joke or say something, and they just totally take it all the way over here. It might have something to do with something that happened to them when they were younger, and you don't even know it, that's bothering them. Or there could be something at home, or they thought you looked at them a certain way, or anything. So hopefully this stuff, me bringing this out to you guys, is bringing it to your attention, right? And I might sound crazy saying this, but guys, I've seen it all. So don't be surprised if your coach doesn't like you just simply because he's weird himself. All right, now, 5 signs. I'm not going to tell you how to combat it. I'm just going to tell you 5 things to look for if you think your coach doesn't like you unfairly. Okay? Number 1. If he doesn't answer the questions you have during practice, in practice, after practice, on the bus, anything, and he's really short with you, when he does answer questions, and that happens frequently, he tries to have a little small talk and explain stuff, okay, it's more likely that's a sign that he doesn't like you. Because if I have a kid that I like, and I know they're knowledgeable, they pay attention, they have a good attitude, things of that nature, okay, and they're basically a good kid. I'm not talking about these weirdo kids or kids that have bad attitudes. I'm talking about kids of, a good kid. And he comes and asks me a question. I'm going to be happy to answer, right? Because I like him and I want to see him do well. Now, if it's a kid that I don't like because of his attitude, it's different. But like I said, sometimes these coaches just don't like you because they don't like you, or they're jealous of you, or your ability to play, or your height, or whatever, your skill. That happens. But if they're short with you when you ask them questions, that's one sign. Number two, if your coach constantly makes an example out of you for punishment. Now, sometimes these coaches will do this because they want you to get upset and quit. So, for example, I had one of my high school coaches. I'll never forget this. You guys grew up in a totally different era, but I remember in the ninth grade, I was about 6'3". I could play almost every position on the floor except for point at the time. And like I was a real jokester, but when it came to basketball, I was serious. Once I got on the floor, I was serious. When I'm on the sideline, I'm playing around. I'm talking a lot. Mainly because I didn't have anybody to show me that was wrong, right? I was just a fun guy, and you guys can say I was just a charismatic kid, and I didn't know a lot of times that talking and cracking jokes or whatever on the sideline really bothered some coaches. So I remember, I think I was really bothering this coach at one time, and he would always make an example out of me, even though I was probably the best player in my age group at that time. He would try to do everything to make an example out of me. If he caught me laughing, anything, run. If I missed a layup in the drill where it's like a team layup drill or something, he would completely, other guys would miss layups, he would completely stop the drill and make us run, right? So I noticed that he was trying to make me quit. He would just keep doing this. So I remember one day, something we were doing like a drill where like if you get scored on, your team is off and another team comes in, or like cutthroat drill, I forgot what it's called. So I made a basket and got fouled and he didn't call it. It was an obvious foul because the guy had got beat on the play. So he was like, hey, Tex, you guys are off. So I'm walking off. The play is going on the other end and I'm walking off on the baseline this way. So when we lost, he made us do push-ups. So I'm down on the floor. I'm getting down on the floor. And as I'm getting down on the floor, boom! The coach threw a ball and hit me in the head. I should have just like, but he didn't like me. He was trying to get me to quit. Now, most of your coaches are not going to go to that extreme these days. That was like 1998, 1999 when that happened to me. 1998, actually. So that's, almost 20 years ago. I'm old. Yeah, that's 20 years ago. Goodness. But yeah, man, if your coach is constantly making an example out of you in his punishment, that's one. If he makes fun of you frequently, and won't let you take a jab back at him. So if your coach is constantly joking about, little stuff that you do at practice, what you're wearing, the way your jump shot looks, you getting scored on in a drill. If he sees you out, in the hallway, he's making fun of, what you may have on, or a girl you're talking to, or a dude you're talking to. Okay, and you shoot a shot back at him, he gets upset. That's another sign that he doesn't like you. Like, I joke with my guys all the time, and unless the kid is like going overboard and trying to be a total comedian at practice, I don't have a problem with him shooting a joke back at me to a certain extent. Okay? Because I understand being a kid. And it's fun when you can joke with your coach a little bit as long as it doesn't get out of hand to where everybody's playing around at practice. And that's where you have to step in. Put your foot down a lot of times. But if your coach is constantly joking with you and you feel like you can't throw a jab back, or he's not laughing with you during the joke, and you feel like he's laughing at you and kind of picking at you, and he's doing it all the time, yeah, he don't like you. Okay? Another one, big one. No compliments. When you make a good play, okay, at practice or in the game, and that coach isn't cheering you on, and everyone else is, or you make a good play in front of him, he don't have anything positive to say about you making a good play or doing something well, he don't like you. Number 5, the last one, and the big one, okay? If your coach always puts you in position to fail at practice, a lot of times he doesn't like you. What does that mean, Coach Tex? What is a position to fail? If he puts you up against a guy every time at practice, okay, during every drill, and it seems like it's like he's targeting you to do that, or he puts you up against a certain situation where he knows that you're going to make a mistake or going to fail. It's just like if you're a post guy and he's trying to put you in position to handle a ball in a certain drill, and he's not getting other guys in your position to do that, that plays your position to do that, right? I remember, or like a position like this. Let's say, well, before I even get into that, guys, most of the time when a coach does this, he puts you in a position to fail, he is trying to find a way to justify not playing you or not giving you any playing time. For example, right? Let's say, it's like before halftime, before the end of the game, right? Let's say you haven't played in the last 10 minutes of the game, right? And he puts you in the last 20 seconds of a scrimmage or something like that, or a basketball game, your assistant coach or your head coach, he puts you in position and puts you in the game in the last seconds of the game to play defense on the best guy on the other team or one of the best guys, or you're taking the ball out on the sideline and you got to take the ball out and throw it in, and you haven't played in 10 minutes and you've been cold. Why would he do that? Right? Unless you're really skilled at that area. Or let's say you're playing against a team and they're pressing, right? And you're not a good ball handler. He puts you in a position to where you have to handle the ball a lot. So you can go in there and turn the ball over, and he can justify not playing you. Guys, that coach is toxic and he has personal problems if he's doing that. Or he really, really does not like you, and he wants to find a reason not to put you in the game or not play you or try to get you to quit. And then when a coach does something like this and you do fail, he'll chew you out about it when it's really his fault. It's just like me if this like a dumb example. Let's say, I don't know what team Dwight Howard plays for right now, right? But just for example, let's say Dwight Howard is playing with the Lakers again, right? And Dwight Howard is not a good ball handler, right? Or decision maker off the ball or with the ball. And let's say Rajon Rondo is playing and he gets hurt, right? And the coach subs Dwight Howard in to play the point. And Dwight Howard comes in on the play and turns the ball over and they lose the game. And you go to the locker rooms, Dwight, man, what are you doing? You turning the ball over. This is why I don't play you, blah, 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 blah. Well, coach, you put me in a position to fail. It's your fault, really. But this coach may not like you, and he's putting you in a position to fail. Right? Another thing is, one last gem. If you're kicking the kid's butt at practice, right? Let's say he's a lot more skilled than you, but you're doing a lot of things right that are small plays that can help the team. When let's say he actually gives you a chance and he puts you in the game and you do well during the game. If you're continuously kicking butt at practice and the small amount of time he's giving you in the games, you're doing extremely well, and he's not trying to find a way to give you more playing time, he probably just doesn't like you. Or he likes another kid way more than you. Especially if this other kid playing your position is not playing as well as you are in that small amount of time. It just makes sense. All right? So that's it. This video went extremely long. But guys, if you have any questions, contact me at dfwpenguins@gmail.com. You can hit me on my Instagram at Penguinhoops. Okay? Penguinhoops. Hit me up in my DM, something like that. Guys, I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Remember, guys, like I got like 3 or 4 subscribers. I don't care. This is for my Penguin guys. Anybody else watches and they get something from it, I don't care. But I want you guys to stay ahead of the game up here. All right? I'll see you guys later, man.